YouTube, back for part three of this review of Nightmare on Elm Street 2010, the Platinum Dunes remake or reboot, if you will. Like I said, man, just a phenomenal horror flick, man. Uh, Let me just give you crowd reaction. Man, I'm sitting in this theater Friday night, 10:20 at night. Theater is packed. It's opening night, man. And from the very opening scene, girls, guys, everybody jumping and screaming every 2 or 3 minutes, man. There was a lot of scares in this movie. You had a lot of those, what I would call cheap scares, but they're still scares. Pop out and make you jump, and But the reason that the reason I can justify these, and I won't justify something like The Ring or the jumps cheap scares in movies like that, is because there was substance behind these scares, man. They were, you jumped and you freaked out, and then you relaxed, but after a while, you thought about that scene, you were creeped out. You were like, wow, man, that's heavy, man. So I'm saying, like, yo, crowd reaction was insane. People were jumping and screaming and cheering. At the end of the movie, everybody clapped. You know what I'm saying? It was very well done. Now, as far as the acting goes, like I said, Jackie Earle Haley, ain't no need to even speak anything else on it. That is Freddy Krueger. He is amazing. And little side note, because of the success of opening weekend, I mean, we already knew that Jackie Earle Haley has signed on for two more films. Okay, he signed on. It's a trilogy, Nightmare on Elm Street trilogy. Okay, well, the sequel is rumored to be done in 3D. Okay, so you know me, I'm not a big fan of 3D movies, man. But if any movie can make it work, it's the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I mean, they did it back in the day with Freddy's Dead, and even though plot-wise and acting-wise that movie was horrible, the 3D effects were pretty cool. Now imagine now today in 2010. So there is a sequel coming, and it is rumored to be done in 3D. Um, Jackie Earle Haley, phenomenal, man. This guy was insanely creepy. Some of the things that he would say and with the tone that he would say. Again, spoiler alert. I think it's like the third victim. Yeah, it's the third victim of the movie. It's a kid named Jesse, the guy who's in jail, who the police think killed his girlfriend Chris when it was really Freddy. Man, when Freddy gets to this kid, bro, man, he's stalking him through the boiler room, and the kid turns the corner and he sees his girlfriend and the first victim hanging upside down, just gutted. And he says, "Oh my God!" And Freddy's standing right behind him, and he says, "No, it's just me." And when he turns around, he's crying, man, and scared out of his mind, and he's saying, "What do you want from me?" And Freddy says something like, I don't know, Jesse. What do you think? Do you think you can reverse the hands of time? Like saying, you think you could bring me back? You think you could change what they did to me? And he's like, no. He's like, you think you could bring the dead back to life? He's like, no. He's like, yeah, I didn't effing think so. And the kid starts crying, and he curls up in a ball, and Freddy puts his claw on his back, and he just like pats him on the back, and he like rubs his back, and he says, "Why are you screaming? I haven't even cut you yet." And he just giggles and walks away. And then the kid gets up, and he's looking around, and he's freaking out, and then all of a sudden, Freddy's glove, all four blades, just blast out of his chest, bro, like right at the screen, bro. And Freddy just pulls out like that, and the kid just falls dead, right? When you go back to the real life, the real world, he's in jail at that moment. So his chest just blows open, mad blood everywhere, and the kid falls on the floor dead. And the cellmate is like, "I'm innocent. I didn't do it," which was a real funny moment in the movie. Okay, the kid is dead, right? Well, then all of a sudden it goes back to the dream world, and he's still alive, barely, and he's hanging upside down right next to his girlfriend and the other victim, and his blood is just gushing, and he's upside down, and Freddy's right in front of him, face to face, and he's just rubbing him with the claw, and he says, "Did you know that after the heart stops beating, the brain keeps functioning for well over 7.5 minutes?" And then he just looks at him and he giggles and he goes, "We have 6 more minutes to play." And the kid just lets out this blood curdling scream like he's being tortured, which was a phenomenal scene. It's etched in my mind of how scary that is because the kid was dead, but the brain keeps functioning, and it's with your brain that you dream. So he was still in the dream for the next like 6 minutes or so, getting tortured, hanging upside down, bleeding to death while Freddy's taunting him. That was scary, man. Everybody in the theater just got really like quiet when they saw that. So I mean, that's just one of the things that Jackie Earle Haley added to the movie, man, was the creepiness, man, and the voice was awesome. Freddy's look, some people don't like it, some people hate it, some people love it. I happen to be one of those that love it. I think it looks like a real burn victim. If you see photos, you go Google or Yahoo Images right now and look up photos of burn victims. They don't look like Freddy in part one. They don't look pizza faced, okay? They look like their skin is melted, their cheeks are sucked in. Sometimes their eye sockets are deepened because they burn off, the eyelids or the eye socket tissue. And that's what he looked like. His cheek was all ripped up. There was holes through it because the skin had been burned off. There was his one of the eyes was sucked in like real deep, and the other one was slanted. And he had always this like sinister little like brow. Um, His mouth was kind of like plastered back like that. It still could do emotion and all that, but for the most part, it was melted like that. So he looked awesome, man. He looked like a real burn victim. He looked authentic, and just because of that, it was creepier than the original makeup. The glove design is slightly different. I like it a little bit more because it's got like these skeletal-looking rivets instead of the plate on the back. It's got these skeletal-looking tendons that connect at the wrist, so it's pretty cool. Um, the plot, like I said, man, was amazing because it was so much more deeper than he was a child murderer that killed 20 or 30 kids on the street and then the parents killed him. It was a lot deeper than that. It went a lot deeper, and it took the whole movie to expunge this plot and bring the entire the truthfulness of it to life and bring it to light so that the kids know why they're being stalked. There was also a little addition in the plot that was new to Nightmare on Elm Street movies, somewhat. If you've ever watched Dream Child Part 5, you'll know that in that movie, Alice, the main character, is pregnant and she doesn't know it, and the unborn baby's dreams are bringing Freddy to life. Well, something like that happens here, but it's even more creative, and I gotta give mad props to the writers of this movie, Wesley Strick, namely, because man, this this concept was off the chain. And it's a real symptom that happens in insomniacs in real life. If you stay awake for 70 plus hours nonstop, no sleeping, you will start to experience what they call micronaps, which is basically your brain shutting down for a few seconds at a time to recharge itself. And in that moment, even though you're technically awake, you could be dreaming in the visible world. And Freddy takes advantage of that in this movie, bro. So there's a bunch of amazing scares that happen along the way as these kids try to fight to stay awake, and they start having these micronaps, bro. A bunch of incredible scenes. The supporting actors, Rooney Mara playing Nancy, I think she did a great job. She kind of reminds me of Bella from the Twilight series, man. Kind of emotionless, misfit, gothic type girl. But once she got into the acting, into the emotional parts, and the parts where she's trying to stay awake, man, she was a hell of an actress. Uh, the kid who plays Quentin, the kid from The Haunting in Connecticut, phenomenal job. Uh, all of them really acted good. I think the weakest actor there was probably Chris, the blonde girl who was playing Tina, and she still did a pretty decent job. When she was scared, she looked scared. The crying and all that was awesome. Um, what else can I say, man? This movie was phenomenal in a lot of ways. Not in every single way, but in a lot of ways, it outdoes the original. It does things better than the original. It's not an insult to the original. The original is still the best horror film of all time, but this is right there with it, and this does it justice. If you're a Nightmare on Elm Street fan, a Freddy Krueger fan, a horror movie fan in general, go see this movie. Stop listening to stupid reviewers that are bashing it for no good reason. Don't even take my word for it that it's good. Just go see it, and you'll see it is amazing, man. They did a great job. The kills, the whole persona of Freddy in this movie. He is a sick, dark, demented, twisted mofo, man, and he ain't playing in this movie. All right, I'll tell you like this. I saw the Friday the 13th remake, and though I think it wasn't that bad, I think it was decent. Jason movies kind of suck, bro. I'm not trying to, insult Jason fans out there, but let's be real. The Jason movies, they're fun to go see, but they are stupid movies. There's no real plot. You know what's going to happen 100% of the time, and it's just not really inventive. But Jason in the remake was a badass. He was running, and he was tough, and he was strong. I'll tell you like this. The Freddy Krueger in this new Nightmare on Elm Street 2010 movie would kick that new Jason's butt, man. That's how sick and powerful he is in this movie, man. You gotta go see it, man. So, like I said, man, acting spot on. The plot, amazing. The soundtrack was horrifying. Okay? There's a brand new theme in the movie. You hear the old traditional Nightmare on Elm Street theme right at the intro, right after the first murder scene, and then boom, it says Nightmare on Elm Street, and you hear a synthesized, like, new school version of the dun, 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 the Nightmare on Elm Street theme. But for the rest of the movie, there's this creepy, eerie new theme that continues to play as the teens are researching and trying to find out what's going on, man. So, amazing movie. If you want, I'm not much for giving it number scales, but if you wanted me to give it a number scale, I seriously give it a 10 out of 10. I think it delivers across the board where a horror movie needs to. Amazing villain that you would cheer for because of the nostalgia, but you hate in this movie because he's so sick and he did stuff so horrible in his life. Amazing acting by the villain, amazing weapon, amazing plot, amazing and unique way that people get killed and stalked in this movie in their dreams. Good acting, amazing cinematography and soundtrack, bro. It just delivered on all levels, man. So yeah, man, I will give it a 10 out of 10, no hesitation, and I'll debate that with anybody that wants to make a response to this video. I'm not trying to challenge anybody, but if you want to respond and tell me that I'm crazy, I'll go back and forth with you all day, man. I'm telling you right now, this movie is a 10 out of 10. Go see it. Nightmare on Elm Street 2010. God bless y'all. Take it easy.